Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Fatback 4 Daily. It is Saturday night, and it's going all wrong here. Completely and utterly wrong. There's stuff. There's everything happening here. I don't know what I've done. I'm not even going to edit this out. I really haven't, but I think I have it right now. So here we go. It's the Fatback 4 Daily. We're going to talk about the new kits. We have a little bit of news, we think, on the second and third kits. We're going to talk about the possible return to football in June and anything else that comes along via Hotmic or via YouTube tonight. We're hopefully on both tonight. I'm hoping against hope. It's on. It's live. I've completely messed up the start, but look, let's see how we go. And here we go. I'm so sorry about that. That was so bad. I'm trying to press all sorts of buttons. There was volume turned on, off, mics on. There was cameras on. There was everything going wrong there. But look, we're up and running. Keith is with me tonight. Keith, how are you, my man?
I'm good, Gav. Yourself?
I'm good. You know
Apart from your little start there.
That's the worst thing I've ever done in my whole entire podcasting career, which is not much to fucking say, but it's the worst thing I've ever done. It was just I had too many screens open. I'm going to be honest. Look, tonight we're going to talk about these kits. We're going to talk about the possibility of football coming back, and people are on in Hotmic and they're on in YouTube, hopefully, which I'm going to check in a second. And look, if any random stuff comes in, you know how it works. This show, of course, is brought to you by Paddy Power. A bookie's a website and an app. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly, and if you do, please remember to do so with Paddy Power. Look, Keith, I'm going to start off with these kits. We'll get on to the football stuff in a couple of minutes, but it's being leaked, and the cover photo on YouTube is Trent in this mocked up Liverpool jersey. And I've seen that New Balance have nearly more or less released a jersey to show what we could have had if we didn't go with Nike. What have you made of this? Are you a big fan? Are you a big fan of what it looks like? Are you not really bothered? Are you a man that buys replica kits? What way do you fall on this?
I like it. I think it's a cracking kit if it is the right one. I don't buy kits for myself now, but I buy them all for my young fella. So I do have a vested interest when they're getting released. And this one, with all the traction coming off this, it seems like this could be the one. This is the genuine one. I think it looks great. I think it looks the little bit of green in it, I think, is nice. A lot of people were complaining about it when they just saw the sort of flat stock design. But then when the pictures of Trent and all in it and other players mocked up, I think it looks the business.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. Now I like the fact that we're going to Nike. I'm not gonna lie. I think we've nearly gone around like gypsies for the best part of 20 years. You know, I know we had Adidas for a while, but we were arsing about in Reebok kits. Warrior, don't know what we were thinking of with that. And even the New Balance. Now look, last year's New Balance kits, I think they were all cracking, but they were shite made. So I've huge issues with that as well. So I'm glad to see a return maybe to a bigger brand, a global brand. And happy days. I love the training gear with Nike as well. I think their gears, well, their kits are always a bit standard. I think their training kits are always cracking.
You're mad into the training kits, aren't you?
Love all that, yeah. Love all that. Don't train. You know what I mean? I'm a lazy shy. But I'd wear the training kits over anything else.
You talk about the green there, and for me, it's a throwback to 1995-ish, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Probably a bit earlier, 94.
94-ish, was it, with 94. the 3-6 stripes, was it?
Yeah, with the stripes, but they had the green on the... when I seen it was a real throwback to that.
Do you know what? That was the template they were wearing in the 94 World Cup, weren't they? Remember when we done that USA 94? Yes. So it would have been 94, 95, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And it is a slight throwback to that. I like it. Now
Yeah.
I did see, a picture of it from the front and the back, the back of it looks like has a
The
little bit
collar.
of has a bit of a mad collar on the back as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Looks a bit funky, all
It
right.
looks a bit funky, is not the fucking word for it. It looks a bit more than that. But
Yeah.
but look, we're gonna have to just, people are gonna have to measure up or weigh up, I suppose, the design. How good is it? And it's going to sell. There's no doubt about that. But
This is it.
people, and you're saying about the quality of New Balance. People like the quality of New Balance. I heard I've heard lots of good things about the New Balance stuff and the quality of it and stuff like that. And I have a couple of jerseys. It's usually an away jersey I buy rather than the red. I
Yeah.
grew up getting red every year, and then
Yeah.
kind of changed. And now I wouldn't buy a jersey every year, but the odd time I'd probably get a present of it off my wife or my daughter, or
Yeah.
whatever, for Christmas or birthdays or whatever. And it'd usually be an away one. Um, you know, are we going to have to weigh up? Look, it doesn't look as good, but having said that, they'll probably learn on the job. And secondly, we're getting a hell of a lot more money for this, so we're
Yeah,
just going to have
exactly.
to, we're not going to crawl our nose to spite our face over the design. When, as you
Yeah.
said, the quality and the training gear alone will probably make up for that.
Exactly. And when I say the quality, I just mean again, my young lads' kits, they all peeled, this season's ones, all the blade and the lettering and all peeled off. I just didn't think they were very well made this year. I thought the design of them, I think, were probably the best we've had this season. Absolutely loved the black Alison Becker kit. Absolute cracker of a kit. But I just didn't think they were made well. But look, that's my own experience of them. I think New Balance have made some lovely kits for us, but they're just not a big enough brand. And it's all well and good trying to be different, but you need the money, you need the reach from the Nikes and all that. So I see people raring up about going with a brand like Nike. I've no problem with it. Couldn't give a shit, you know what I mean? Really couldn't. It's the club. It's a sign that we're a big brand ourselves, and we're being supported by a big brand, by a huge brand, probably the biggest of them all. Even though people prefer Adidas, Nike are a huge brand in themselves. So no, I think it's great.
They're massive. If you're watching on Hotmic, please hit the like button. That's that big flame thing. Throw it in there. Any of your opinions, we can see them on screen, I promise. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, all that. Subscribe. A couple of comments coming in here. Chris Brack says that's the worst start since the 2005 Champions League final. I think it's actually worse than that. I'm being honest with you. I'm so sorry. It was just I had too many screens, too many buttons. I could explain it in detail, but it's very, very boring. The New Balance kits didn't look great for next season, says Chris Brack. Yeah, I will go along with that. I have seen some stuff where I thought, Jesus, they don't look good at all. Heath Newland says he still hasn't recovered from Grizz's sticky barbecue sauce episode. Amazing, wasn't it? I listened back to that today. I was doing a few bits around the house and I stuck it in my ears. And the football chat was brilliant. But then when you get Grizz going on any sort of food substance or anything, to be perfectly honest, it goes absolutely off the wall. Dylan O'Rourke says New Balance are acting a bit like a jealous ex-girlfriend getting with a munter to show you what you could have had. They're poison looking. The only nitpick for Chris Brack is the badge being a stick-on, not embroidered. Yeah, is that something for you as well? Because you've just mentioned there, the New Balance stuff peeled and stuff like that. But Nike look like they're sticking on a crest here rather than embroidering one in. Is that something for you?
If this kit is the genuine thing that's coming out, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think it could be. I know some of the Nike gear this season, especially the training range. I think I saw a Spurs one that's got like this plasticky looking crest, and it looks similar to what's on this. And I think it looks good. You know what I mean? I think, it's something that people might just be a bit, weirdly giving them something to complain about nearly on the jersey, because I think we'll have to wait and see with it. I mean, I remember a New Balance one a couple of years ago, and it had like a plastic crest on it. It was, I can't remember which one it was. It was only a couple of years back. Could have been the 18 season when we got beaten by Real in the final. It was a lovely kit, and the crest was like a plastic thing. I must dig it out and see what it was. But again, it was a nice kit, and it was just different. It's not stitched on, it's not printed on, so we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's a bit strange looking. There's been lots going around about second jerseys and third jerseys and stuff like that. The rumoured one is that green one that people keep showing which is a bit crazy looking. It looks like someone went down into the Great Barrier Reef, took a picture, loads of green showing in on while he was underwater, and he came back and went, look at that, and people went, yeah, that's deadly. What do you make of that green one?
It's a bit mad looking. But again, with all these things, once you see them, you could be looking at a totally different kit. You know what I mean? You look at it. I've seen kits in the past, and in fact, Nike had some cracking kits over the last couple of years. Inter Milan had an away kit this year that was like a greeny sort of colour as well, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I think when we see it in the flesh, rather than these sort of prototype design things, it might look good. You know what I mean? It might look better. But again, until they're confirmed, you just don't know. But these are the ones that do seem to have the most behind them, coming from sources that have got stuff right in the past. So I'd say these are probably it. But it's nice. I like green kits with Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? I like... we haven't had one in a while, have we? When was the last time we had a green?
The last green one I remember is... Did we have one around 98, 99? Berger scores a free kick at Old Trafford in a nice green one.
That's right.
I think Reebok made that. After that, I can't remember.
We had white and green, didn't we? Adidas, remember, with the red. We wore it in the new camp.
Yes, we had that one as well. Yeah, that's probably the latest one with the green on it. Yeah.
Now that was more of a white with a green trim. But do you know, we had a lovely green one as well, an Adidas one. Green jersey, black nicks. Or picturing Danny Agger wearing it in my head there. It was actually a beautiful kit. So yeah, green. I like the green ones.
Yeah, I don't mind the green. That's the latest rumour going around as to what the second one will look like. Now, I was talking to somebody today that is fairly well in on what's going on with these jerseys, right? And I just asked him, I said, any news on these jerseys? Is that green real? Anything else happening? And the words back to me is that the away one is green, the third one is black and pink.
Yeah, I've seen.
You know, like Dylan O'Rourke on Hotmic here says PSG had about 7 kits last season. We could easily do the same. I don't know if we get away with it. The Adidas dark green with black shorts a few years ago was fantastic.
Yeah, cracker.
A deep turquoise, he says. Black and pink. What do you make of that?
Yeah, again, I've seen the black and pink design one. I think it could be nice. Do you know what I mean? It could be different. Again, I think a lot of people are guessing and are mocking these things up, how they'll actually look. I've seen the black and pink one with the Nike swoosh on it, and then I've seen it with the old school Nike badge that he had this season on all the third kits. It said Nike and then the swoosh. So you don't know like what's genuine, but yeah, some of the ones I'm seeing, the black and pink, I think it looks alright. I think it looks good.
Tommy C on YouTube says he just buys the retro jerseys because they change the jerseys too much these days. Heath says in US never saw any Liverpool for sale. Had to order online. That's going to change, Heath, in a massive way. Every outlet that holds Nike will have Liverpool plastered all over it, trust me.
New Balance is an American company, like.
Yeah, but it's the amount of outlets they can get into. Nike can get into every single one of them. So where you're used to walking in and seeing NFL stuff or NBA stuff, Liverpool will have a big share in these things now.
Yeah.
Chris Brack says spot on, Keith. Big clubs go with Nike or Adidas to get most sales. It's just where they can get. It's just putting it out there. You know what I mean? Chris Brack says it can't be as bad as the Reebok stick-on badges. They fell apart. They were terrible, especially the one in 2005-06. Do you remember the Champions League winning special?
The gold.
With the gold kind of going through the red. That was horrendous. That was just falling off when you're walking around the shop. Let me see. Black and pink could be popular with LFC's women's team, says Chris Brack. That's a good point as well.
Yeah.
Let me see. It's black with a hint of salmon, not pink, says Dylan O'Rourke on Hotmic.
Light red.
So there you go. Light red, yeah. For the layman, it's just an off red, isn't it? It's like when your red marker starts to waste and it changes colour. Isn't that what it's like?
Yeah, black and wasted red marker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but look, we'll have to wait and see. But it's a mega deal for Liverpool. The next thing will be, when did we start wearing it? Is the deal with New Balance up on this 17th of May, or does it run until the end of the 1920 season? I'm sure that's all being figured out at the moment. I have a suspicion that it will be till the 1920 season is completely finished. Every date you've read about, players out of contract, sponsorships, this, that, and the other, they'll all just be extended and moved. So if it's moved, say the season finished on the 17th of July, anything that stood on the 17th of May will be moved 2 months. Anything that stood up to the 30th of June will be moved 2 months. You know, that kind of way. That's where it'll come down to with contracts. And I might get on to contracts in a couple of minutes with you as well. But look, there's been varying, I suppose, reports over the last couple of weeks, and specifically in the last couple of days with regards to football coming back in the UK. There was supposedly a virtual meeting, as they would call it, or an online meeting with the Premier League and their clubs on Friday. And all that came out was that they remain committed to finishing the season when it's safe to do so with full government backing. I put a poll up on Twitter earlier through the LFC Daytrippers main account, and there was 600 or 700 votes, and about 70% of people thought that the season would finish out. There was about 20% that thought, about 20% thought that the standings as they are will stay as they are, and the rest thought that it would be null and void. Now, I did say in the poll what you would think would happen, not hope. So I want you to take the heart out of it and put the hope, or take the heart and hope out of it and just look straight down the line and take rose-tinted glasses off or whatever. And the one thing I would say is that I've been steadfast in what I've said since going back to before the football was stopped, or probably a little bit after that, in fairness, when you take stock of things. And I always thought that the season would finish for the simple reason there's too much money involved, But is there anything that's making you doubt it at the moment? Because when I look at it, like somebody on Twitter replied to us today and says, "Now hold on, if we don't finish out this season, you won't be able to compete in Europe next season. Hence, the Italians and the Germans looking to get these seasons finished, and they've been, as heavily affected up to now as the UK has been." It has to be down to money, doesn't it? Because you're seeing there was a thing the other day where Partick Thistle have been relegated in Scotland because they've decided that, I think it's from Championship League 1 and League 2 in Scotland have been declared as finished as they stand. But people have said, the Premier League will do the same. No, there's no TV money in the Championship League 1 or League 2 in Scotland, so it's a much easier decision to make. Is there anything at the moment that swayed you from your opinion, whatever that opinion may be?
No. To be honest, I'm of the same opinion as yourself. Without, head or heart getting in, I don't think they're going to avoid it at all. I think it's only a bit of bleeding schadenfreude and a bit of skullduggery by others that are saying that, people with their own agenda. Because to avoid the league, we've said this all along. We've said this going back since the thing happened, Gav, that the ramifications, the legal cases that'll come out of this, and not just Liverpool. I mean, take our Liverpool hats off. Leeds, Coventry, West Brom, all these people, they'll all, Coventry go bust if they have to avoid this league season because they've put all their eggs into getting promoted and they're leading League One. Who's to say they'll do that again? So, I think the avoiding it is not going to be a realistic option. I think the other two, I think it has to play out because I agree with what you said there. Or whoever it was that said it, leagues have to be finished to see what happens next season. You can't just void a league because the thing that annoys me is all this scrap. And you have to just cancel it and start again. Well, start again when? Because there's no definitive date when they can start it again. So why would you be talking about voiding it? If the league gets voided, it should be as a very last resort. No other option. 28 days later job where half your team are zombies nearly, without being too flippant. You know what I mean? That should not be talking of avoiding. It shouldn't be a realistic option. If they don't want to finish it, if enough teams rear up, I think they have to have 14, is it, in the Premier League, have to agree to get the league sort of stopped. Well, then I think the only option is to finish it as it is and then deal with the ramifications of that. Do you know what I mean? And say, and that might be a case of, right, Liverpool could it be a case of
the 29/30 games being a fair reflection of the league and where the way we should go forward, like taking the option of playing it till till its conclusion out of the scenario for a minute, just parking it for a minute, okay? Is there an argument to say that the standings as they are after 29/30 games is a fair reflection on the season, and it's a fairer way of doing things for clubs rather than just turning around and saying, right, whatever's happened this season is no longer there? Is there an argument for that?
I mean, it could be. Like it's the way I'd look at that. I'd say, if that was to happen and that to say, right, this is 30 games into the season, we're over 3/4 of the season is done. This is the way we're gonna call it up. You might have a couple of clubs that'll rear up about that, but I think they can be paid off without being too cynical. You know what I mean? There might be deals done if a team is. I don't even know the league standings at the moment. Who's in third bottom? Villa or something? Are they down there? Or are they above?
I think remember. The bottom three at the moment might be Norwich, Watford, Villa.
Yeah.
It's that long since I've looked at the table.
Exactly. I don't know. So, Villa mightn't be happy with that, but they could be given a sweetener. The teams might get an extra bleeding 30 million in parachute payments or something. I don't know. A once-off sort of sweetener that, look, nothing we can do. But there you go.
But that's if the TV companies, if they turn around tomorrow and say, right,
if they say it has to play it, then it's going to play it.
Playing it out is the easiest way to do it for fairness, okay?
Yeah.
And for money that's owed for, TV money, sponsorships, bonuses, all that sort of stuff, season tickets and stuff like that. And it's the fairest way for people like around the grounds that their business relies on games being there, for this to end like that is the fairest way to do it. To declare the standings now as the final standings, you're into another quagmire of stuff now, because TV companies will still say, but you still didn't play the games, and it's the same as null and voiding it.
Exactly,
they're stopping
it is.
So basically, if you're writing off everything that's being done this season, we're writing off anything we are willing to pay. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's the sell-off, wasn't it? When the Premier League sold their soul for TV, the biggest TV deal in the world.
You have to keep your side of the bargain up.
Exactly. You're at the mercy of the television company. So there's too much involved in this, it's going to get played out. End of story.
There's a couple of comments on here on YouTube, and Chris Brack says, did you see the Telegraph nonsense, which says the season has to start early September? Interesting, when the Champions League final is supposed to be on the 28th of August. Nobody has said with any certainty, and if you're listening to this or you're reading anywhere that the season has to start in September, stop reading it.
It's all speculation and bullshit.
Nobody knows what's going to happen. The only argument is, should the season end, be null and voided, or declared as it stands. Dates, forget about dates. They're not going to happen.
Exactly.
Heath says it's not going to be voided, but they'll play another 5 games. No relegations. Top 2 of division of the championship will come up. We'll have to wait and see on that. Again, if the top 2 come up out of the championship, and then you're looking at, the playoffs, and the playoffs lads are saying, well, we were in the playoffs. Why can't we have it? We've been denied a chance. And then
Preston in the playoffs there that I'd never get a sniff of that. But do you know what I mean? And have a small budget and have fuck all money and have a chance of going up to the Premier League. And probably once in a lifetime.
Not only that, Preston probably were in the playoffs going back probably 10 years ago a couple of times, right? But the money now is astronomical compared to even 10 years ago, And as well as that, if your season is delayed and you bring 2 up, now you're a 22 team league, and now you have 42 league games. All right, exactly. So you have a longer season to try fit in after a delayed season, because you've decided that we didn't want to finish the season before. The big thing for me is the European stuff, because you can't put somebody that qualified in May 2019 into a Champions League that starts in August 2021. That makes no fucking sense.
It's ridiculous.
Or August 2020, whatever it is. The kind of way. It doesn't make sense, and it could be into 2021 depending on how we get on. Let me see. Chris Brack says the standings is hard as some clubs have played a game less. Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. And you can't just give everybody 3 points because it will affect them massively. Avo says the new season hasn't started. That can be adjusted. You've got to finish this season. It's 80% done. Finish this, sort 2021 out, and when it happens. Tommy C
and
says...
that's the nail on the head. You can do this season. There's no point worrying about next season. There's nothing has happened on that.
Yeah.
Get this one done.
Yeah, absolutely. Tommy C says null and void shouts are coming from all the bitter fans that can't bear seeing Liverpool go back on our perch. It's as simple as that. I think that's a very fair point.
It is.
And I think it's been proven when it was all a great laugh that Liverpool could be possibly robbed of a title because of COVID-19. And then when the talks are, no, they're going to actually do this and play it out. Or why? And these same people are saying, "Well, why are you talking about football when something so serious is going on?" That just you can really match these people up online and social.
Exactly, and if you look as well, I mean, whoever said the thing in the Telegraph, there's stuff coming out now about print media is on its arse and go out and buy a newspaper. For the price of a coffee, that blade and rag the Sun were trying to claim that get out and buy it. Fuck off, but. All newspapers are struggling. Well, to be honest with you, the press have been, the amount of sort of lies and rumour mongering that journalists have been spouting off for such a long time, and they've nothing to talk about now, are talking all this crap then about voiding leagues. Do you know what I mean? Because they've nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And they're trying to justify their existence. The Sun, right? We'll never expect that and really decent out of them. The Daily Mail, fucking right-wing nonsense that they come up with as well. But you'll see all the other ones will be struggling. But the better journalists out there are moving to the Athletic and the likes of that. That's where they'll go. They'll do their writing. They'll do their stuff. The newspapers will all die on their arse.
Yeah, it will. And you know what? Like, it's very easy to pick out the ones that are scaremongering. And the people that are actually reporting what's being reported. If you're going to be straight down the line about it and report what's being reported, you're reporting very little. The simple reason is because there's very little being done. Like this Premier League meeting went on, what day is today? Saturday, yesterday.
Yeah.
And nothing came out of it. They had a meeting. I'd say the meeting consisted of, right lads, listen, there's no date in it. There's 3 more weeks of shutdown in the UK. So we're going to have to put an indefinitely on this. We're committed to it, and we're on the same, we're towing the government line, I suppose, until everything happens. And then I seen reports of, well, one Premier League owner said this, and one Premier League, why don't these owners just come out and say it then?
Exactly.
If they've said it, why don't you come out and say it? Stand up and say what you want. Now, the only thing is they mightn't, because Karen Brady made a fool of herself about 2 weeks ago, and she's still in the papers now telling people that it's a very complicated situation. It's not very complicated. It's not. It's very, very simple as to what's to be done and how they can do it. And listen, she and others can make out that this is, you have to look at this and you have to look at that. That's all being looked at. They aren't going to go ahead with a plan and go, oh, sorry, we forgot there was referees. How are we going? Referees will have to go into quarantine, if they were to do something like play it in the Midlands or play it at Wembley. Or they're all going to have to do it. Anyone that would be involved in a Premier League match, if they wanted to do it over 4 weeks in Wembley and, I don't know, pick 2 other stadiums in London and do it there, and they're going to bring everybody down. Anyone that would be involved in that from day 1 to day 30 will have to be in quarantine, and literally their only focus in life is getting these games all done and dusted, Chris Brack says West Ham, he fills us in on the bottom 3. The bottom 3 is Bournemouth, Villa and Norwich. Villa game in hand, which if they win gets them out of the bottom 3. Bournemouth in bottom 3 on goal difference. West Ham, Watford and Bournemouth on 27. Villa on 25 with the game in hand. The race for the Champions League is so tight. 3rd on 53, 4th on 48, 5th on 45, 6th and 7th on 43. Not all played the same amount of games, especially if City's ban isn't overturned.
So much to blade and sort out.
Heat goes back to the talk of, if you bring 2 up, you're going to have 4 relegated from the Premier League over the next couple of seasons to get rid of that. Yeah, but you're still going to end up with, there's an African Cup of Nations that's coming up. You have a Euro 2020 that's being pushed back. Then you have a World Cup that's thrown in. Not long after the, you're going to have to, instead of a 2-year gap, or what would have been, an 18, 15, 16-month gap between Euro 20 and the World Cup, now it's fuck all, you know what I mean? There's nothing in it. So it's mad. when you add teams in, I know where he's coming from. It's not a bad idea, but when you actually add teams in, trying to get the league done on a shorter time scale with more teams is where the difficulty comes. Now they could
without getting rid of cups and all, without saying the League
or
Cup's in
winter
the
breaks that
fucking
they fall
bin.
for.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit crazy. Chris says there's a reason print media is on its arse. They all wrote nonsense and spout hate. The Athletic ahead of the curve being an online subscription only. I'm not a subscriber to the Athletic. I'm going to be honest with it. I do pick up one or two other articles that people might put out there, but I might consider actually going and looking at the Athletic because they seem to have a great array of writers from different clubs and different football and backgrounds, which might suit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. If you're into reading good stories about football, well then, you know, if you're looking for a subscription, go with that because they do. I heard James Pearce done a thing before, and they said, you know, it's not about just getting articles in quickly. It's about taking your time, putting the effort into them, making them, if they're long, but doing the research, making it a quality article rather than quantity. And that's what you want. The amount of shite that's getting put in newspapers and, you know, even online newspaper or football gossip stuff and all that, it's absolute garbage. Absolute shite. You know, you've newspapers, one side of their page is saying one story and the other side is contradicting because a different journalist is saying it. It's absolute. I haven't bought a paper in Blade in years, to be honest, because I just don't bother with them. Absolute shite.
Yeah, no, look, it's one. I don't know. I try to stay away from, you know, the comment and the articles on it where it's just, it's just, it is clickbait. It's scaremongering. Yeah. And look, when Liverpool are good and playing well, you don't get more clicks than when Liverpool are involved. And with it, the biggest loser in all this, although there will be massive losers in it, football and wise, throughout the football pyramid, with the possibility of Liverpool 30 years waiting on a title and this could happen, there's no bigger pull, I suppose, online than this as well. You know, it's one of those things. Chris says the Premier League meeting is all the briefing 48 hours before and trying to push the view to get public backing. All smoke and mirrors deflect from their woeful decisions. Let me see. Avo says the Athletic has cherry-picked all the best local sport writers. They probably have, they've given them a security and fairness in what they're doing and the way they're bringing it about, and they seem to have. It's a really good way they have, and a really good outlook on how they're going to do things and forward planning in it, I suppose, as well. Chris Brack says he only buys papers when Liverpool win trophies, just to see the papers. Let me see. Dylan O'Rourke says on Hotmic. Dylan O'Rourke says he feels bad for Timo Werner learning English only to be greeted by Trent speaking Scouse and Nabby Keita just saying Nabby lad. Yeah, that might be a fair point. But look, it's one of those things. Again, you know, I think England is in, or the UK is in lockdown until May the 5th. Similar to Ireland, is that right? That's right. So everyone goes up until May the 5th now, and then it will be looked at again. But on a time scale of it all, are you still looking at it going, look, I genuinely believe football will be back in June. Yeah. You know, I genuinely believe that. And I think they are going to have to look after this lockdown and probably they might get another 2 weeks out of it before industry has to turn again. You know, exactly. And basically they're going to have to trust their people, you know, the population and the people of these countries, whether it's Ireland, the UK, France, Germany, Spain, whatever it is, they're going to have to trust these people to, whatever restrictions are lifted, that they're going to have to be steadfast in the restrictions that remain. You know, that kind of way.
I mean, you'd think that, and most people would, a bit of common sense, you know what I mean? I think if I say that, you know, the restrictions are lifted, there'll be bleeding carnage at the beginning, but I think it might change people's outlook on certain things, certain sort of gatherings, public crowds and things like that. But I just think with the football, they have to bring it back, because you can't wait until there's no more cases of COVID-19. That's not what it's about. It's not about waiting until it's all gone. It's about, you know, flattening the curve and the transmission sort of rate, getting that down to a manageable level. So once they do that and the players can all get and the officials and, you know, managed teams, managers and all that can get well looked after, I think they will be back playing in June. And I think the likes of these Premier League meetings, I think, are just, you know, they'll all go into a club, right? We've no news, or as what came out of the last one, yesterday's one, we're looking to get back in June. Teams get back in training in May, and people are in uproar about this, you know, clubs going back training, but you have to plan for this. My job, I'm working from home, and we had a meeting and they're saying, you know, oh, well, we have to start planning about getting people back into the office maybe in May as well. So clubs and leagues are going to be making plans for if they can go back, and this sort of shit gets leaked and they turn it in, you know, reporters in the Daily Mail again saying, you know, oh, how can you be talking when there's people dying? Well, you know, there has to be plans in place. You know, you can't just say, all right, well, back next week, players are all at home doing videos of themselves kicking jacks roll. Do you know what I mean? There has to be a plan. They have to start getting back together and trying to work through these things. So I think they'll be back in June. I think what could happen from the Premier League meetings, and again, this is just my own opinion, could be well off the wall. They might look and say, look, if we get so many of these games done and we can't do any more, you know, we'll try and play them in June. If we only get 5 games played, or a team gets 3 games, whatever the positions are at that stage, we're calling it. So it gives teams a chance then.
Yeah, no, like,
and cuts it back, you know what I mean? And they might be agreeing on things like that, you know, saying, right, give it to 3 games, and then Aston Villa have a game in hand, right, you have 4 games, you know, and try and squeeze the next to get them all up to the same sort of level.
I think they're probably looking at a realistic timeline. If you were to start, say, the 6th or 8th of June is being talked about, I think they're looking at that and they're thinking to themselves, right, we need this done by about the 22nd of July.
Yeah.
You know, 6 weeks. Every team has on average 10 games. 6 weeks is 42 days. 10 games, you're playing every 4 days, and you're playing, and that's just how we're doing it. And then they're looking at 22nd of July, and we'll start on the 1st of September, which now gives you another 5 weeks before the season starts. You know, and teams are going to have to adjust. It's just the way it is. You know,
Exactly.
I'm sure there's managers around the country, and they're saying to themselves, all right, we're off at the moment, but we can't really train properly. And then they're asking us to play these games, then they're asking us for 5 weeks off. And it's just going to have to be a bigger picture thing. On the plans for the team and clubs and players, listen, we're looking at this lockdown as the man on the street. And we're saying, you know, it's another 3 weeks. I'd say clubs are probably looking about 5 weeks down the line. So they're actually saying to themselves, right, today, 5 weeks, what are we doing? And then there's an update in 3 days. Is that date still okay? No, we have to push it out another 3 days. And they're probably keeping themselves 5 weeks in advance for getting back to training, getting training properly, getting ready for, you know, whether they have to, you know, up sticks and move to London for a month, you know, the kind of way, or move to the Midlands for a month, or indeed it's just play behind closed doors in the stadiums that, you know, Anfield or Goodison or Old Trafford or the Emirates or the Etihad or wherever it is, you know, you just play your home games at your home ground and it's behind closed doors. They're definitely being updated on a daily basis as to, you know, when does their 4 or 5 week plan kick in, when do we actually start it, and when have we got a date. You know, Dylan asked, does anyone even remember how many points we need to mathematically win this league title? We need 2 more wins. We're on 82 points, are we? We need 6 to win it, out of 9 games. Dylan says he's working on Hotmic. Dylan says working from home himself. The complete opposite. They're sending out home Wi-Fi hotspots, so I think they expect us to go on for the long haul. That may be the case, Dylan, but it might be just a case of that they're not giving their employees any excuses as to why they can't work from home. And they're going, listen, we're supplying you everything. Don't give us any excuses. That could be one. That could be it. You know, the kind of way. He also says that Bayern have restarted training in small groups, will be an ideal way of getting the ball rolling, because as ridiculous as it sounds, a pre-season will be needed, as this may be the longest break this group has had in 5 years. That's a really good point. You know,
it's true.
When cumulatively, it probably is the longest they've ever had in a couple of years, because Sadio Mane turned up the day before Norwich at the start of the season, I think, Dylan says one win versus City would do it. Yes, it would.
Yeah.
It would, yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. Chris says he works in the hotel industry. They have to plan for reopening hotels for a date, but as government extends its lockdown, we just have to adjust our business plan. Football is to do the same. Exactly. Anybody in any sort of work or owning any business or running any part or division of any business is definitely looking at 3, 4, 5 weeks down the line and saying, right, we just have to keep plotting the dates and moving dates back and forward to see where they can be. We're going to do another 5 minutes or so if anybody has any random questions, you can absolutely throw them in. You can throw them in now while me and Keith have a little chat. What was the last thing I wanted to speak to you about? Let me see. Oh yeah, the Timo Werner stuff. So it was mentioned there about him turning up and learning English and stuff. There's a serious amount of just mad stuff going on the internet at the moment, isn't there, with regards to transfers and this player and that player. They're just picking a name out of a hat and throwing her in there and just letting her run, aren't they? Even more so than the transfer window.
Yeah, they are. It's fucking chaos, and nobody has a clue what's going on, You're seeing articles about, will they sign them? When will they come in? And it's just ridiculous, I think Timo Werner, Liverpool have done a deal for Timo Werner. I think it's just going to be announced when the right time to announce it is, not just for Liverpool but for Leipzig. There's a load of Liverpool can't just come out and say, we struck a deal with Leipzig for Timo Werner if the season, let's say the season was still ongoing, because Leipzig are still chasing things in Germany as well, so there's loads of stuff like that. I did see that Leipzig have sort of lined up this replacement.
Who was
some fella, I think he's an Albanian or a Kosovan or something off. I think it's Mönchengladbach or Werder Bremen. Okay. He scored a stack of goals or something in the Bundesliga this season. But they're looking at replacements. I can't see. I see Inter Milan looking for him, Chelsea linked with him, but none of it has any. Doesn't seem to have any legs to it. It's speculation. Inter Milan are going to lose Lautaro Martinez to Barcelona, so they see Werner as the ideal replacement, but they feel he might be going elsewhere. It's all a load of shit. Yeah. Chelsea, the same with Alisson. Chelsea are interested. Well, why the fuck would you want to go to Chelsea? Do you know what I mean? In all honesty, over Liverpool, like, for all we can say, the London thing over Liverpool has been a bit of a crutch. Well, I tell you, players will not be rushing away from Liverpool at this moment in time with Klopp and everything the way it is at Liverpool. You know what I mean? We're not going to lose fucking key transfer targets to the likes of Chelsea, I don't think, at this stage. So I think it's going to be Werner to Liverpool, and I think when it's able to be announced, it'll be announced.
Yeah. Dylan O'Rourke wants a 5-a-side of worst Premier League players. We're not going to do that. We are going to try to do our World 11 tonight with, 2 players or 1 player from every country, and he couldn't play with somebody else and all that. I know Keith's put a lot of work into it. But hours of work. But we're going to try to do that tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a second guest on, and they can bring their teams together. I'm not going to do a team. I'm just going to compare both teams. Myself and the viewers are going to slag Keith and the second guest off, and then we just head off into the Sunday night, and we'll all have a nice time and a start of another week in lockdown. One other thing though, and it's come up, I've done a couple of shows, 2, possibly 3, with Terry from the Football Terrace, right? And really enjoyed them, really good. I seem to get landed with a lot of Manchester United fans, which is quite enjoyable. The chat on there is absolutely insane, which is mad to read while they're doing a show. But I've had a question over the last couple of days from a couple of different people privately, asking me, would you do collaborations with anybody else? I'll do anything with anyone. If they're willing to talk football, have a laugh, have a thick skin, I'll do a collaboration with anyone. So if there's, along with your random questions that you can throw in who you'd like to see me have on the show, or you'd like me to go on their show, and I'll try to organise it. So if it's something you'd like to see, if there's anybody out there that talks good football or has a bit of crack, and you think, Gav would have good crack with him. Or
I enjoyed the one you done with Dave Downey. Yeah, Dave Downey on Monday, didn't you?
Yeah, Dave Downey. Everything. Yeah, he's good. He's great.
He is good because he's not. He's quite realistic as well about everything.
Stuff. He's really good.
So Yeah, that was good.
Okay, no worries. But look, you can throw them in there, and anybody that comes up, I will absolutely try and do it for you, because that's what we do, innit? Let me see. What's al fresco cuisine, Keith?
Al fresco,
Yeah, Barry
like
Carr says the
outdoors.
best al fresco cuisine.
Outdoors, is it? I don't
I
know.
think it's
Al
outdoors.
fresco.
What's the best outdoor cuisine?
Late now. See, I'm not a big barbecue fan, so I'm not really. I don't know.
I do like barbecues now. I have to say, but
Yeah,
outdoor, same as indoors, isn't it? You
yeah.
know what I mean? You can eat
Just
anything
less,
indoors or outdoors. You can
if it's
sit in the
sunny and
kitchen with
you're
the window open.
outdoors, yeah. If it's outside and it's sunny, you'll have loads of bleeding wasps and flies and all that shit. So whatever.
Let me see. Chris says it is eat outside food, so a barbecue. Red Bull 1234 says, "Where's Grizz?" And then he says, "Please get Grizz. Grizz. It seems like Grizz is needed for something. If you get on to Twitter and
Is that
ask for
great?
Grizz, or else he just wants to get Grizz on this show again. Because he's in Grizz is just insane. I'll absolutely try to get him. I might try to get him tomorrow night, and I might even get 2 or 3 guests on tomorrow night, wherever we can. Alan asks, "How's the banjo going, Gav?" All right, picked it up today. Still just getting used to it. You know, like I've realised I'm not a clumsy person, but I realise when I have a banjo or guitar in my hand, I just come across as completely and utterly clumsy. But I'm going to keep going, right? And once this lockdown continues to go on, I have more time to hone my skills, I suppose.
That's it.
Let me see. Chris Brack wants Mark Goldbridge. Tried to get Mark a couple of times. We've tried to contact Mark a couple of times. I don't know what it is with Mark. Maybe he just doesn't like us, and that's fair enough. There's loads of people like that. But I'd love to talk football with Mark Goldbridge. I like his insights on Manchester United. I really do, and I have a big interest in Manchester United because they just look like a mirror image of us.
Yeah,
Going
100%.
back probably 10 years.
Yeah,
In around that, when we are just we're flapping about trying to get players, and then we're
convinced that everything was the big final piece of a jigsaw.
we were trying to just lump something on and say this is it. And United just seemed so similar to me in that way, and that's why I have a massive interest in. And Terry from the football, Terry's is a United fan, and when I speak about United, I nearly get off the show and go, "Jay, he's going to eat me for that," because and he's like, "No, you make good sense of when you're saying stuff." Which is great, when you get United fans like that, you can speak to him. Goldbridge is definitely one that I'd love to go. True Geordie, he's good, isn't he? True Geordie.
Yeah.
I think he only has YouTubers on his show, and I think he do them like via Skype or via that. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of his stuff, but what I have seen, he's really, really good. Dave Downey was good as well, says Chris. Paul Machin is good value. I had got Chris Pajak on one night. That was brilliant. Chris Pajak is great crack, and literally love the random stuff more than the football, which was brilliant. Because sometimes I do get people on, and I mightn't even be like a guest that you'd know. It might be just one of the lads I know, and I'm kind of going, I don't know what way this will go. When I start the random stuff, he might just say, "Listen, I'm not doing this," the kind of way. Everyone's being brilliant at it, but Chris Pajak loved it. I think we were talking about big hula hoops as opposed to standard hula hoops and stupid stuff.
What's not to like?
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Yeah, so Paul Machin, True Geordie, Mark Goldbridge. Okay, I'll take a list of them and I'll see what I can do. If there's anybody else, is there anyone else United, Liverpool, Arsenal related? I don't know. If there's anybody out there that you'd like me to speak to, I'll absolutely do my best to speak to. Let me see. Dylan on Hotmic says, "In all honesty, I think Liverpool have an agreement, a partnership with Red Bull franchise. Trent is a rep for Red Bull, and I think that's the proof we need." How many points are you sinking once the pubs open back up, Keith?
It's couldn't even put a fucking number on it. Until I'm getting taken out of the pub by my ankles on a stretcher.
Okay. I don't know. I have told my wife that when this is all over.
Forget about it.
More or less. But the big thing for me is golf as well. And I was talking to Andy the other day, and Andy was saying, "Listen, if they lift any sort of restrictions, golf will be allowed to be played again." Because golf is just a social distancing thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite isolated, and anyway.
Yeah, and it's in an open area like that. It's quite easy to make rules and stick to them. So as soon as the golf course is open, I'll be out playing golf. pub wise, if they lifted it all in the one day, I think it would be golf and then the pub after. And God only knows how long that would go on. Let me see. Dylan found his brother's old Match Attacks collection from a long time ago. With some absolute belters in there. We'll try pick a worst 5-a-side team for you for tomorrow night, Dylan. We are going to do something tomorrow night. But we're definitely going to do this World 11 thing. So if people want to think about it, they literally, you have to pick 11. You can only have one player from each country. Plus, none of the players can have played with each other. Is that right?
Yeah. So you can't have a player, if one played for Barcelona, you can't have another player, even if they're from a different country.
But if he played for Barcelona at a different time from a different country, are you okay?
No.
No,
they can't have played. So if you have, for example, I was a smart ass with this.
So say you've done Zidane.
Say you done Zidane, so you can't have any more French players. You can't have anyone that's played for Real Madrid, Juventus, or Bordeaux.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that rule sounds fair enough. Right.
You think that's tough?
Yeah, I know. I'd say it is tough, but it seems like it's straightforward.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. So if people want to pick that for tomorrow night, we'll be back tomorrow night on YouTube and Periscope tomorrow night. We'll do. Yeah, go and do that. Bring your worst 5-a-side Premier League team as well. Bring your suggestions for people you'd like to see on the show or you'd like me to reach out to and I'll do a collaboration with. Absolutely fine, because listen, content isn't easy at this stage. It genuinely isn't. And not only for me, I see Liverpool people doing Liverpool content on YouTube, Periscope. They just put stuff out to download. They do Hotmic. They do all sorts of stuff, and it's not easy. It genuinely isn't. Fair play to them all for whatever they're doing, and they're putting in effort for people to be entertained on a nightly basis, which is brilliant to them. Let's be honest about it. Let me see. What else have I got here? Chris says the World 11 is so hard. It took him loads of attempts to get a team. Avo says the Echo podcast, has a good show behind enemy lines. Have a talk with the team about we're about to play their podcast host. I'll have a look. Manager for the worst 5-a-side team has to be Roy Hodgson. Funny enough, he's not the worst manager the Premier League's ever seen, so I don't know if he'd have a rite of passage there to take that job. I'm being honest with you. We leave it at that, I think, will we?
Yeah.
Okay. We leave it at that. That's been the Fatback 4 Daily. Thanks again to everyone that's watched on Hotmic. Thanks to everyone that watched on YouTube. Remember, if you're not on Hotmic, sign up, use LFCDT, and that will bring you straight to our page. You'll be following us, and any time we go on here, you will be able to see that we're going live. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and that will mean then that you won't miss a show when we're going live. If you're on Twitter or Periscope, again, follow us there, and every time we go live, you'll be notified. We also have most of our shows downloaded. They are downloadable to the likes of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any all the good podcast apps. Keith, it's been an absolute pleasure. 54 minutes, we done well there, brother.
Pleasure as always, yeah. Like you said, when there's not much to talk about.
Yeah, no, we're doing all right. Yeah, that's been it. Thanks for joining us. Over now.
Take care.